Alright, boys and girls, it looks like Corvus Belli have just dropped unit profiles for the models that are coming in the Sandtrap N5 starter set, as it were. And we get to have a look at some of the stats that we're going to see in N5 and see if there's any changes and things like that. So I'm really excited to just kind of dive into these profiles and see what we get. So without any further ado, we're going to be starting off with my favorite of the two, which is going to be the JSA. So let's go and have a look at some of these profiles that we've got here. The first of which is going to be the Senku troop. The Senku is basically the line infantry, the very basic line infantry for the JSA, and their stat line pretty much says that for them. They got the regular move 4/4. We're not seeing any changes. I should probably have a quick look at just if anything's different from N4. And along our profile, things that we already know, move is the same, close combat is the same, ballistic skill, physique, willpower, armor, BTS, and now this time wounds has become vitality, just for clarity reasons, but otherwise stays the same. Silhouette 2, and it has the points at the end as well with the SWC at the bottom, which is 0, obviously, for the Senku troops. But if we have a quick look at these Senku troops, we've got, close combat 15, BS 11, physique of 10. Pretty standard stuff. Where it's actually a little bit interesting is these guys have armor 0, so they're going to be really, really squishy. But they do have a BTS of 3, which means that they have some resistance to hacking and some certain types of weapons that attack their BTS. So it's kind of an interesting profile for them. That's the only real difference. Otherwise, they're pretty much like a regular line trooper. They do have courage, as JSA do. So that basically allows you to just choose what the guts result is. And we've got a forward observer model and then 2 regular models in this set to make a 150 point army. This is pretty straightforward. Weapons wise, we've got the combi rifle. Obviously for the forward observer, we've got the flash pulse as well. They all have a pistol and close combat weapon. So next we got the Shinsenbutai. These guys used to be in JSA, or they used to be in Yuqing before JSA separated from Yuqing. It's nice to see these models come back. The design of them looks pretty much the same as before, but let's actually have a look at what kind of a stat line they have. They're a medium infantry. They've got regular moves of 4/4. Close combat 16 isn't anything really fancy, especially in JSA where you have a lot of close combat specialists. BS 13 is pretty nice. That's going to be a pretty powerful, they're pretty good shots. Physique of 11 means their dodge is not particularly great. Willpower of 13 is pretty strong. Armor of 3 is nice. BTS of 3 is nice. So they've got some decent resistance to being shot at and also to being hacked. The vitality of 1 means, they're not going to be too hardy. But once they get through that armor, they're down. Let's have a look at their special skills. What makes these guys actually unique? Here we've got a surprise attack of -3. So we know that they've got hidden deployment. So if they attack from hidden deployment, that's going to be a -3 modifier on the opponent there. They've got courage, as we've said, all JSA pretty much have. I mentioned the hidden deployment there. Now it's interesting. They've got hidden deployment, but they're not infiltrators. So they're going to be hidden deployment, I guess, within their own deployment zone. They got immunity shock, mine layer, mimetism -3, and X visor. So basically outside, as long as X visor works the same way as it has done in N4, that basically means outside of the negative range bands, there is a +3 modifier on your negative range bands. But he's got a missile launcher. So this is where he really doesn't need to be outside of his deployment zone, to be fair. So this is going to be kind of cool. This is basically, as I read it, is the JSA's version of a Noctifer with a missile launcher. Obviously, the Noctifer has the advantage of having infiltration as well, but these guys Yeah, these guys still are going to be rocking it with a really decent BS and with an X visor as well. They're able to mine the area around them if they need to. These guys are going to be pretty cool. I think this is going to be something that, if I get the box, the Shinsenbutai is going to be probably a pretty standard unit I would run in a JSA force. That's pretty cool. So we got the Nokizaru next. This one is the roof monkey. I expected it to be a bit of a ninja type of character, but I think there was a few surprises here. So move of 4/4. Pretty standard. Close combat 23, so yeah, they're definitely going to be good at close combat. BS of 12 is pretty decent. Physique of 12 is decent enough for dodging. Yeah, it's pretty good. Willpower of 13. Now, armor of 0. That's going to be harsh. If you catch one of these guys, they're going to go down pretty easily because they've also got Vitality 1. But they do have BTS 6, so pretty decent against hacking. Now this particular one has a killer hacker device and a multi-spectral visor level 1. And again, if that one works the same way, you're going to get some ability to shoot through smoke. Not perfect ability, but some. Special skills, we've got martial arts level 3, so he's definitely going to be powerful in combat, in close combat. And it'll still be interesting to see exactly how close combat's going to be working in M5 because it's going through a bit of a revamp and things. Heard some things on some of the interviews with Carlos Austria that we're going to be able to have kind of like a burst on close combat and you just choose the highest roll or something like that. But I'm not totally sure on anything there. Courage again, of course. Forward deployment plus 8 inches. So it's not like a full infiltration like a regular ninja would be, but they do have forward deployment. So there is some level of infiltration there. Dodge of +1, mimetism -3. They have stealth, so they can sneak up on people. Climbing plus and terrain total. Now, what's interesting is they have no hidden deployment or anything like that. So these are not ninjas that are hiding, as it were. These guys, you know they're coming. You'll be able to see them. They're not trying to hide as much. They're just trying to sneak up on people from around the back if they can. I did assume they were going to have climbing plus when I saw the model and the name of the model, because the history of the Nokizaru is that it is a roof monkey. It's a ninja that uses the rooftops to get around. So climbing plus makes sense. This particular model has a submachine gun, decharges, shock mines, silence pistol, and shock CC weapon. I can see if you can get behind models, this one's going to be quite useful with a silence pistol, especially combined with a stealth. So you can get inside people's zone of, all the terms just go out of my head. I think it's zone of control, is it? You can get inside people's zone of control without them noticing, and using the silence pistol, they can't really react to it either. And looking at the silence pistol kind of damage as well, or should I say, is it possibility of survival? Something like that. Is an 8. It's not too bad. It's a pretty good weapon to use, but I think you're probably going to be wanting to get into close combat with your shock CC weapon with a possibility of survival of 6, which is going to be pretty nasty, coupled with the martial arts level 3. He's going to be really, really good. So you do want to get this guy up close to things, I think, but I'm kind of curious to see exactly where he sits in the army when you've got lots of other units that kind of do the stuff he does, but better. I don't know. I'll be curious to see how that one works. Again, of course, this is a particular sectorial, so we want to see also what we have access to exactly in this sectorial. The other unit we have here is a Jizum, excuse me, we have the Jizumurai Handryodan. For me, it's so weird reading Japanese in Romaji. I'm used to reading Japanese in Japanese, so it's very... I find the pronunciation reading the English very difficult. But these guys have got a move of 4/4. They got close combat 23, so again, pretty cool, pretty powerful there. Pretty similar stat lines so far with the Nokizaru. BS12, physique of 13, and willpower 13. It's pretty similar. The armor 3 though is a bit different, so they're a bit harder to kill. BTS 3, so it's just kind of like balanced across both types of saves they're going to be making. Vitality of 1 again. So a lot of the JSA models here with only Vitality 1, they're going to go down pretty easily if you catch them. But we've got Martial Arts level 3 for this guy. So again, he's going to be pretty nasty up close and personal. Courage, of course. Now, this is good. Dodge plus 3. Holy crap. So we've got physique of 13 with a dodge plus 3. This guy's dodging on 16. This is like a tiger right here. Tigers are well known for being able to dodge like crazy when they need to. But this, yeah, dodge of 16 is going to really help him keep alive and dodge up into close combat possibly as well. Plus, also, he's got the dodge plus 2 inches. So if dodge is working the same as in previous editions, then we're looking at a 4-inch dodge that he makes. So you're basically trying to dodge up into close combat with things. That's going to be pretty cool. Immunity to shock, that's good to see. Mimetism of -3. Stealth, again, climbing plus. Combat instinct. I forget what combat instinct is if we have that one in N4. I'm going to have a quick looky. The reason I couldn't remember what combat instinct is the fact that I think it's a new skill. It's not on the wiki, and I've asked the AI as well, Sibylla, about combat instinct in N5 and what the rules are, but it's just saying that it will be referenced in the rule book, so you've got to check the rule book, so I don't think it's up on their database there at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see, probably some buffs to close combat in some way, or how they react to being attacked or something like that. The Jizumaru is also, the Jizumarai is also carrying a light shotgun and a thunderbolt. Then a pistol and double action close combat weapon with a possibility of survival of 5. That's pretty nasty. Let's have a look at the Thunderbolt's profile. It looks like it's a bit of a longer range weapon where its best range band is 16 to 32. Its possibility of survival is a 6, so it's pretty powerful. Has a burst of 2 and no special ammo of any kind. Attacks the armor of the unit, and yeah, that's basically it. So it's just a pretty strong, kind of like a marksman's rifle, I would imagine, but it's got a pretty good damage profile with a possibility of survival at 6. That's pretty cool. So that's the Thunderbolt. So the Jizumarai is only 24 points versus the Nokizaru's 27. They have very similar profiles, but the increased survivability of the Jizumarai, for me, just seems like it's a lot better. I may be wrong in that. I might be missing something. I understand the Nokizaru's got the killer hacker device, so that's going to be very useful. With a BTS of 6 means that it also fights off anyone trying to hack them back. So it's a pretty useful killer hacker device unit, but I just feel there's other troop types that might fill in the role of the Nokizaru better. If they still have access to the ninja with a killer hacker device. It is fairly similar, and you get infiltration on top of the ninja, which is always better in my mind. But the Jizumarais, I feel like a much more survivable model. I don't know, whatever you think. That's just my initial opinion on that one. And then we've got the Hatamoto Imperial Guard. So this one is our heavy infantry model. So it's a move of 6-2. That's pretty familiar with stats that you would find in N4. Close combat of 23, another very strong close combat unit. Ballistic skill of 13, pretty good shooting. Physique of 13, pretty good dodge. Willpower 13, pretty good. Yeah, pretty nice stuff. Armor of 2. So even as a heavy infantry though, armor 2 is pretty low. to what you would normally expect. But BTS 6 means he's pretty resistant to hacking. We've seen this kind of stat line start to crop up a lot more since the Torchlight Brigade. That's one of the ones that I noticed. All of Torchlight Brigade have a very high BTS. So this is kind of like reading into that. It's a little bit similar. We're starting to see more units with these high BTS scores to make them tougher against hacking. Vitality 2 for this one. So that's where it really shows that it's a heavy infantry model here. Now we've got a lot of special skills here. We've got Frenzy and Martial Arts level 4. So this feels very much like the Domaru. We've got Courage. We've got a Dodge plus 2 inches. So still pretty decent dodge and can move fast off the dodge. Immunity is shock. Immunity from shock. That's nice to see. Again, mimetism -3. So that's good. It's harder to hit this model. That's pretty cool. X-Visor as well to help with the ranges. A nanoscreen. Now that's going to be the big thing as well. So he does get constant cover throughout the whole game. So anything trying to shoot at him, he's got cover through the nanoscreen. So always getting that +3 +3 to the armor and a -3 to hit, mixed with the mimetism of -3. That's pretty good. It's like mimetism -6 with cover. That's nice. We've got Natural Born Warrior, except of course I think it still works against MSV2, so much more useful. Natural Born Warrior, so going to be really good in close combat, kind of doing preventing the opponent from putting any negatives onto the Hatamoto. Natural Born Warrior has been changed up a little bit because it was a bit too powerful in N4, is my understanding. I was on the suffering end of this with running JSA against units that had Natural Born Warrior, because it basically just cancelled out all of your martial arts buffs, which was nuts. Now it's just removing the negative modifiers that would affect you, but you keep your buffs on you. Combat Instinct again, so it's going to be interesting to find out what that is fully. Specialist Operative, so yep, he'll be able to score objectives. That's really handy as well. He's got stealth and he has no cover. This is, I think, just to basically make clear, he's got a nanoscreen, so he won't get any bonuses from cover because he already has the nanoscreen. That's basically what that is. So he's just walking around with a little sandbag that is kind of like blocking shots to him. He's going to be carrying a Red Fury, which is made a little bit more useful for ranges with the X-Visor, a heavy pistol, and a monofilament close combat weapon. So he's going to be pretty tough against anything with lots of armor. It'll be interesting to see if monofilament changes in any way, but basically close combat with a he's got an EM close combat weapon with a possibility of survival 4. So that's going to be pretty powerful as well. So you can choose which one to use there. I would imagine the EM close combat weapon is very, very good for just slicing through line infantry and things. And then you put out the monofilament against anything with lots of armor, like a tag perhaps. But yeah, very cool. I do like these models. They seem pretty awesome. And I'm excited to see how they play on the table and how the Shinsenbutai kind of works as a sectorial. What's going to be the overall flavor and feel of the sectorial versus like the vanilla JSA that we have. Okay, well, for now, for that first video, that's going to be it. That's me talking about the JSA. I'll soon have a video out as well talking about the Pan-Oceania Force, the Kestrel Fried Chicken guys. That's not their name, is it? It's not Fried Chicken. The Kestrel Colonial Force, that's the one. The KCF, not the KFC. So we'll talk about them in another video very soon. Thanks very much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.